used me for their own gain, and why not? I was, after all, a powerful sorceress who commanded the elements and conjured fear in the heart of any who would oppose her. Oliscar, my apprentice, the entire time was inciting the rabble against me, the witch. You should have known better than to trust him. And Atham, of course, right there, stealing from my library and purse. How could you be such a fool? Atham was someone I thought I could trust.
Sorrow precedes you, mortal. It is almost enough to shift the great scale on its own. It has been centuries since my reverie was last disturbed. For what cause are you here? What could a mortal possibly want with me? Alarine and I have been apart for some time. I think it will be good when this business is over to resume our meditations together. I was another of the wretches that the Weeping King saved when he first walked into the Feylands. When he pulled the rot of winter from me, I learned how I too could do the same. So I learned the finer points of his magic, and followed him as the first delver. Though all of the house are the followers of the Weeping King, the delvers are his true disciples. They can delve into the sorrows of another, just as he did. It was formed as a way to keep the winter traditions of decay and rot while building a winter court. But in time, we lost true sight of what the essence of winter was. That moniker holds no meaning to a true Fae. What is age to the ageless, to the immortal? The sorrows are the inheritance of the House of Sorrows, so to speak. We have been working at delving for centuries, collecting and shaping this magic. But we had never thought that it could be exploited. Do the Tuatha revere nothing? They are Alarain's orders. In many ways, they are the stewards of the House of Sorrows, while delvers deal in the spiritual, tenders see to the corporeal. Nizarain, I have been sealed in here for some time, mortal. But even I know this one. His is the hand that leads the House of Sorrows, no? I know something of the war this land cries of. I will serve. But before I go to his side, you must find Alarain. She and I are as one. Once, long ago, Alarine and I walked the midden as faithful devotees of the Weeping King. She a tender, and I a delver. We were the first of our kind. But when the Weeping King passed, there was nothing. The House of Sorrows that he had built no longer served death, but the winter court that it itself had created. So Alarine and I left. We came here, We devoted ourselves to the contemplation of death, as the Weeping King would have wanted. It means much to me that you wish to reunite us. We have been long in isolation, contemplating death. Perhaps too long. As you found me on one part of the scale, so will you find her on the other. Now I will leave my cell to wait for you both. Among our kind he was, and he remains singular. None could do now what he did, to naturally find the sorrows in others and delve into their being. And though he formed the House of Sorrows, though he saw the birth of the Court of Winter, he did not remain. By choice or fate, he went to Ashara, never to return. I think this war has exhausted all other Winter Fae who knew the Weeping King as he walked. But though Alarain and I remain, I can scarce recall him. She tends to the scale as I have for these many centuries. You must reset the scale in order to reach her chamber. Very well.
How curious. You are mortal, but your steps resound with a burden greater than any one mortal might ever hope to bear. More curious still is your presence here. The great scale is not idly moved, nor is my reverie broken without cause. What is your purpose? Of the Weeping King's disciples, we were the first. Standing on the edge of the midden, we bore witness to him, transforming our people into something more. We vowed to never let that memory fade. Though death did call, we remained in this world, so that the knowledge of the Weeping King persisted. Along with the Weeping King, it was Caelrod with whom I watched the rise of winter. We were fated to be the first tender and delver. I think too long have we been in these contemplations, isolated. When this affair is over, I think we will reunite in earnest. They are the heart of this collective. A delver can take the sorrows into their being like the Weeping King did. Becoming a delver means mastering his art. In the beginning, it venerated death. But in time, the house was revered by Winter Fae for its sacrifice. The first king of the House of Sorrows, and perhaps the greatest Winter Fae to walk these lands, he taught us to delve and to bear the burden of winter. But when the realms of winter were freed of this burden, the Weeping King left this world, never to return. It has been long since that transpired. So long, in fact, that I cannot even recall his face or his presence. But it was powerful. Being in his presence was to know the sorrow of our race. The sorrows, they were meant to stand as a monument to the work of the house. And now they stand on being used as a tool for war. Despicable. Of that order, I was the first. I had the strength to answer the Weeping King and take the burden of other Fae, but I could not hear the sorrows within them. And so I was to honor the midden and tend its depths, so that nature would forever know that we have honored her call for decay. Caelrod and I have lived long in this world, it is true. But our choice was not driven by some manner of self-preservation. It was to learn. All Fae return their life energy to Ashara on death. But the nature of Winter Fae, their essence, lies in the decomposition and decay of all things. Caelrod and I have forsaken being reborn anew to embrace the rotting of the corporeal world among us. That is where nature truly lies. I have felt the shifting of the scale. I know that Caelrod has now ended his contemplations to serve the King of Sorrows. It is no small thing that he asks, for the knowledge that was given to us by the Weeping King was never to propagate nor to be exploited. But I know of the times that are upon us. Come, let us join with Caelrod. If Bizarane and you are to find the sorrows, then it is more than my knowledge you will need. Where we must meet, come, and the eldest will be reunited before you. Goodbye.
We cannot move forward without Alarine's presence, mortal. Very well.
I am gladdened that Caelrod and I are united once again. But if Bizarane truly seeks the sorrows, then he will need more than the knowledge of the eldest. There is a key of sorts to the sorrows. It lies in the hollow of Sincere, the hollow of the Weeping King. We must recover it. Yes, a mortal is not suited to this task, perhaps, but I do not believe we have time to find another to do this for us. We have not asked you to reunite us without cause. Our efforts must be divided. Bizarane must be instructed, and the key must be found. One of us will accompany you to Sincere, and the other will go to the house. We leave the choice to you, mortal. Caelrod and I have different skills, but both of us are capable of guiding you through Sincere. I do not deny there will be hardships we must combat. For that, I rely on my Feyblades, while Caelrod uses his magics. Which is of more use is up to you. Very well. Then I will go to the house and instruct Bizarane on how to reach the sorrows. Farewell, mortal. I shall see you once you recover the key from Sincere. Goodbye.
And so it falls to us to claim the key from Sincere. It will not be easy going, but I will lend my magic to your skill. We must move quickly if we are to beat the Tuatha to the sorrows. I will wait for you in Sincere. Please, make haste. Very well.
Run!
Feel the glare of a silver raptor, a furrowed brow, eyes that pierce the veil.
By the gods, it was horrible. He killed them all, and nothing could stop him. It was Dren, that freak who guards the House of Pride. He told us to leave, but we thought we could beat him. He's just one Fae, and not even a Tuatha, but nothing hurt him, and he slaughtered us all. The worst thing was, he seemed sorry to kill us. We'd heard the legends of Dren the Bloody, unbeatable defender of the House of Pride, but you know how Fae are with their stories. We were going to be the ones who beat him, and opened the path to Alabastra for the army. We were going to be heroes, you know? Then Dren told us to turn around or we'd die. And God's help us, we didn't turn around. You can turn around and run, like me.
You have arrived and our work may begin. Much has changed since I was here. This place is awash with this corruption, this foul crystal. How dare the Tuatha permit this to happen to the tomb of the Weeping King? This was a sacred place, a holy site, and they let it fall to this? But we must not delay. To reach the key to the sorrows, you will need this votive, and 3 others like it. We must search sincere for them. To reach the key means pushing deeper into the hollow, which will be difficult, for the path is barred to all but those who tended this place. The tenders of this hollow carried votives, but the tenders are gone now, though I am certain the votives remain. We must find them. Very well. Key to the sorrow's mortal. Very well. Recovered all of the votives. Then we may press onward to the next trial, the Crying Eyes. When we have reached them, I will tell you more. But now we must press onwards. Farther still into the bowels of Sincere. We shall find it, mortal, if only we press onwards. Very well. devoted to serve their purpose. Come, let's go deeper into sincere. Before we can reach the key, we have one final challenge to bypass. The crying eyes. We must find them. Very well. This is the other obstacle we must encounter. The crying eyes. They're the last guardian on the path to the key. You must approach them, mortal. They will show you the way forward, if only you answer them. By studying them. It is not a riddle, so much as a test of patience. Imitate the crying eyes and the way will open. Very well. Yes? We must hurry to recover the key to the... Very well. That is the key to the sorrows, mortal. It is perhaps not the sort you are used to, but that is certainly it. It is a branch of the ancient and wizened tree, whose roots touch this world and Ishara, the plane of magic to which all Fae belong. It is a branch of the gallows tree. The sorrows take the form of the gallows tree in both realms, and this branch creates the bridge between them. Come, let us ferry it to Bizarrain. Very well.
You focus your attentions where they are not needed. You must away to Sincere, the hall of the Weeping King. Bizarane has need of the key, mortal. For though he has the knowledge of how to reach the sorrows, the key is required for him to stop the Tuatha. Goodbye.
At last, the key is brought from Sincere. You must hurry, mortal. The key must be given to Bizarane if he is to stop the Tuatha. Bizarane has learned all he needs to employ it to reach the sorrows before the Tuatha. You must deliver it to him. Very well.
Yes? What is there that I can do? We are all but gone, and all that remains in our stead are whisperers. In many ways, we were the vanguards of winter. We became the harbingers of this doom. But there is some small hope in knowing that there was life before the House of Sorrows, in the time of the Weeping King. Once he was a mighty figure among us, but when the house reached an accord with the Tuatha, he would not accept the terms and left. I know he fights for the sake of our people, but in truth, I have always feared him. It is hard to trust one that gives into war so soon. They could delve the essence of entropy from the bodies of the Winter Fae, but they did more, so much more. The Weeping King lived on through them, his acts persisting long after he left these lands. For the Weeping King is always needed, even now. Once, it seemed nothing more than a symbol of our house, but I have come to learn things I never would have understood had it not been here. The gallows tree is more important than we ever thought, mortal. Take heart of it, for we will need its strength in the times of need ahead. Farewell.
You have the key to the sorrows. That was well done. Indeed, everything you have done is more than I could have possibly hoped for. My reliance on you to this point was never my initial plan. I only needed Calarok dead at the hands of someone else. But when I learned how willing you were to hound the Tuatha, I saw you would rise to every occasion. You became my faithful instrument. And you continually demonstrate your most valuable quality, your inability to understand the Fae. Do you think that I was without potential servants within this house? That I was forced to wait until you came? No. I had many options at my disposal. But a mortal would know nothing of a Fae's behavior, his values, his reasoning. A mortal might never learn that Saturnin and I are one and the same. True, I do not share the face of my brethren. As I explained to Gadflow, it was a necessary part of the plan. I have not worn this mask without sacrifice. Too long have I gone without feeling the warmth of Prismere or the love of my god. But soon this will end, and I can take my rightful place again. You mean, why not announce my intent in a more obvious and boorish, or shall we say, mortal manner? I had to have the sorrows, but they were lost. It took years before I even learned of the eldest, much less their location. To reach the eldest, I needed this house to die. To do that, I needed a rebellion. To do that, I needed an assassination. To do that, I needed you. Your ignorance of Fey culture, meaning your intonation, made you ideal. You lacked the context others might have used to expose me. But there is more. You are the hero of Mel Senshir. You may not admit it, but you are a symbol to mortals, a rallying point for their armies. Who better to be the blade that I used to kill the Alfar? Who better to destroy the House of Sorrows? It makes my triumph complete. Perfect. You threaten me with death as though it is some great finality. We might both testify to the contrary. I will excuse your inevitable resistance, but if you have any sense, then you already know that you cannot reach me nor follow me. We part ways here. Find comfort, at least, that you will be long dead before the sorrows flood the minds of your mortal armies. Mercer will cut you down here. Farewell.
For better or worse, I know not. The house is in ruins, the eldest lie butchered, and Bizarane has betrayed us to the Tuatha. He must be denied, for our honoured sorrow, our broken pride, our due vengeance. He cannot be allowed to use the house for war. I did not always know. When you went to Damelrock, I meditated beneath the gallows tree, and a part of me that had long slumbered awakened. It makes sense now. Why I could practice delving when all had lost the art. Why I can commune with sorrows. Be it fate or chance, we must take advantage of this. I think that as the Weeping King, I can bring us to the sorrows in time to stop Bizarane. It is both near and far. It will be difficult for a mortal to understand. Ashara is an ethereal plane, another realm of existence. In the Midden, the barrier between this realm and Ashara is weak, and we can exploit that. I do not know what will happen if I attempt to bring you into Ashara, but you have a strong will. That alone may save you. Bizarane has a head start on us. However short, it is likely still enough. Be on your guard. We must run.